A couple of myths that I think it's important to bust and that I have been busting at the doors. Today I was knocking on doors in Rolling Dam. I am loving meeting you at your doors, by the way. Don't get me on that rabbit hole. Such an amazing time meeting New Brunswickers of all different kinds. The two myths that I want to bust are that the Green Party is essentially just a one issue party, just the environment. Now, of course, I think the environment is probably the most important thing. Without a clean and healthy environment, we're toast in every other way. So that is super important. The economics and all that stuff, that's great. But if we literally don't have an earth, we can't survive. So that is important. However, we are not just the party of environment. We have a lot of great ideas, and we believe in compassionate governance. And compassionate governance means helping people feel safe and bringing them the needs, the solutions, making sure their needs are provided for. The second thing that I think is a myth that needs to be busted is that the Greens just want to overspend, give, and give, tax and spend, as some people say, which is such a ridiculous statement because, of course, every government taxes and spends. So, of course, this is just a pejorative expression that means overspend, put us in massive deficit, or overtax, or that kind of thing. Greens believe in living within our ecological means and our economic means. But of course, again, there is that important distinction of a dollar that goes out is an investment. I'm going to keep saying that. What it comes down to, I'm realizing at the doors and as I talk to New Brunswickers in our riding in Saint Croix, is that we are not feeling safe. And anti-poverty is something that the Green Party takes very seriously, in addition to environmental and ecological concerns. We need to be fighting poverty and not just letting, as tends to be the habit of another party, just let the market decide. Let God sort it out, or something like that. Let the chips fall where they may. And as I've been saying about housing, when the price of housing continues to go up as a commodity, that means the people with the most money are always going to have a house, but the opposite is true. The people with not enough money who keep falling between the cracks will not have housing. Now, that is one example of anti-poverty. What I want to focus on today is food insecurity. And I'm going to talk about this for the next few days, I believe. Again, another myth that I think I should take on is I can keep these videos to 5 minutes or less. I think that's a myth that I can't bust, but I am working on it the best I can. And so I have set a timer here. In terms of food security, food insecurity is rampant in New Brunswick. It is too high. Food insecurity, of course, is defined as well. Let's bring up a slide here. I'll tell you where I got this from in a couple of minutes. Food insecurity is defined as the inadequate or insecure access to food due to financial constraints. In 2022, New Brunswick was reported to have the highest rate of moderate food insecurity in any province in Canada, and the second highest overall food insecurity, defined by the PROOF Proof Research Project at the University of Toronto as compromise in quality and or quantity of food due to a lack of money for food. In New Brunswick, and buckle up for this terrible statistic, 22.7% of individuals live in food insecure households. Again, remember what that means. That means that they have inadequate or insecure access to food or financial constraints. Essentially, that means they do not know where the next meal is coming from. And 29.4% of children under the age of 18 live in food insecure households. I can't even comprehend that. When I hear that, I've never lived in a food insecure situation. I can say that. I am privileged. But 1 in 3 children in New Brunswick are food insecure. This leads to a whole host of problems. And what the Greens have said recently is that we want to provide, if we were elected, we want to provide breakfast and lunch school programs for children in schools. That means breakfast and lunch will be provided and paid for by, I'm going to say it, by the taxpayer, okay? And again, I talk to people at doors and they say there's no such thing as government funding. It's all taxpayer funded. Exactly. And we need to prioritize how, there's the alarm, how money is spent And for example, $100 million of your money goes to corporate subsidies right now, very large corporations who are very successful in this province. As I said in another video, $18 million went to a fuel tax subsidy so Irving could clean up their fuel. I could go on, but this is money that the Greens believe would be better spent providing for hungry kids lunch and breakfast at school. And we've already seen programs like We've Got Your Back, amazing nonprofit program that collects money, collects food donations, volunteers, so that children with food insecurity can eat on the weekends. And so I want to spend tomorrow now. I could go on today, but I can always go on. You know that if you've been watching these videos. I want to go on about how this is just smart. Again, I made a case recently in our last series about how investing in education is just smart for the future. Fredericton Chamber of Commerce said this. It's good for business in the long run. Similarly, investing in breakfast and school programs for kids is a great investment in the long run. It pays for itself. There is no good case against it whatsoever. And that's why we want to see that brought to schools so that we feel safe and food insecurity is brought down to an absolute minimum. Join me tomorrow for more details and again, costing this out and just being smart about it, smarter decisions around anti-poverty. But current measures of, and I keep talking about it, cutting 2% off your sales tax and hoping that trickles down, that doesn't make any sense because essentials for people experiencing poverty, and I'm going to define that tomorrow, essentials for people living in poverty are typically not taxed anyway. So who are we really helping with that kind of strategy? Let's be smart. Let's target the problem. Let's lift more people out of poverty so we can all thrive together. Join me tomorrow for that, and I hope you